Entry-level bikes have never been such good value. But which one's the best? We asked professional bike fitter James Thomas to rank them from worst to best.
The Liv Avail 2. This actually isn't a gripe at that specific model, because that specific model isn't terrible, but it's actually more a stab at the entire range, if not the whole brand, which markets itself as a women's specific brand. And really all it is a giant with a different lick of paint on it. There is the kind of thought process of, oh, they're a little bit smaller for women, they've got narrower handlebars, they've got shorter cranks, but they're nowhere near narrow enough and they're nowhere near short enough. So they generally just, and also they don't really come small enough either. To give some context about what I'm talking about, women's bikes historically have come with slightly narrower handlebars, but they haven't been anywhere near narrow enough. Most women that we find in a bike fitting scenario measure between 38 and 32 centimeters, 38 being relatively uncommon, and the smallest handlebar you can get on a Liv, 38 centimeters, rendering it too wide for most women. Step it up, giant. Next up is the Scott Speedster 50 rim brake. To be honest with you, the biggest problem with these is the horrendous Shimano Tawny levers. This might be a price point product, but the problem with the Tawny levers is that they are not functional on the drops. You can't change the gears on the drops because the shift down lever or the release lever is right at the top of the shifter here. I don't even have any to show you, but we're going to put a picture of them here just for reference. Try and avoid bikes if you can with using this shifting system because it belongs back in the late 1990s. We thought we were done with it, but Shimano has kept it in the Tawny level of transmissions. If you are thinking about the Speedster 50, it might be worth taking a bit of a step up and looking at the 40, which comes with Shimano's fantastic Carrera transmission, which has all of the functionality of the higher end transmissions, including that functionality of being able to operate the gears and the brakes on the drops. Next on the list, Carrera Vanquish. To be honest with you, it was a bit of a toss-up between this and the next bike that we're going to talk about because they're pretty decent bikes for the money. At 485 quid, you're getting an aluminium frame with a carbon fiber fork and also Shimano's Claris transmission that we talked about in the Speedster previously. The bigger problem with it, I can't tell you how well it fits, is because there are no geometry tables. But it does look very good and it does represent pretty good value for money at 485 quid. So although I can't give you a reference on how well it's going to fit, looks like a reasonable bang for buck. Other thing to consider is it might be worth taking it to a qualified mechanic after you've picked it up because the purveyors that Carrera are sold through are not renowned for having the best mechanical skills. Francis and I were talking about this off camera. One other problem that he cited was that it comes with a very old school anatomic handlebar shape, which, to be honest with you, is very difficult usually to find a comfortable spot on the drops, and usually has quite a lot of unnecessary reach to the front of the bike. Even more so is that if they're poorly set up, which bikes like this usually are, unfortunately, then again, it's just going to make the bike feel really, really long, usually leading to people fit very, very short stems. If you swap out the handlebar for even something like a Data RH-M01, these are about 20 or 30 pounds online, that's going to drop off a lot of reach off of the front of the bike and generally make it a little bit more comfortable for you. The Pinnacle Laterite 1. These are sold exclusively through Evans Cycles. When I was running Evans stores way back when, we used to sell Pinnacles all the time. They are actually a really well designed and well thought out brand. Historically, I don't know whether this is still true, but they certainly used to be designed by the guys who designed Genesis bikes. So they're usually quite well suited to UK conditions. The Laterite comes with mudguard mounts and rack mounts as well, with reasonable tyre clearance. Again, I can't tell you how well it fits because there is no geometry table on it whatsoever. Also worth noting, as was the case with the Scott, the Laterite 1 comes with those horrible, nasty, tawny shifters. Opt for the Laterite 2, which will give you again, a Claris transmission with all of that functionality. Aluminium frame, carbon fork for better compliance at the front end, and generally just well thought out products altogether. Okay, so we struggled to get this one onto the video because, mostly for cost, because we wanted this video to be about beginner bikes or entry-level bikes, and at 1,250 quid, this represents very much the most expensive bike on this list, but Canyon are well worth a mention for their Endurace 7 rim brake, which has a fantastic aluminium frame. It's got Shimano's excellent 105 transmission, and you even get Shimano wheels as well. As I say, it is expensive, and to be honest with you, if you're going to spend 1,250 quid, I would almost spend 1,450 quid and get the disc version on it instead. On the grounds that, frankly, rim brakes is a dying breed of bicycle, whether we like it or not. Francis and I both love rim brake bikes. We both still ride rim brake bikes, but there is no denying it that the industry is moving away and pushing us all onto discs. The problem being that long term, you aren't going to have options for wheels and rims and all of this kind of stuff. So it is going to get increasingly difficult for you to get spares. So if you can at a push, get a disc brake bike. The other thing to consider with Canyon is it is a direct-to-consumer brand, which means that you can't buy it in a bike shop. You have to go online, you have to order it online, and it turns up in a box. It requires some self-assembly. Usually it's pretty straightforward, but again, well worth taking it to a local bike shop to have it checked over once it's done. The Endurace offers some of the best fit figures on the market, with exceptionally short reach figures and exceptionally tall stack. The other thing is that it offers a fantastic size range for smaller riders, particularly below a certain size range. They go down as small as a double extra small, suiting riders all the way down to probably around 5'1", 5'2". So it was inevitable that the Triban RC 520 was going to make an appearance on this list. It's gone up a little bit in price. It's £899 and boasts a fantastic Shimano 105 transmission. That is mated to, so you've got mechanical levers which are mated to a semi-hydraulic disc brake system. So it's a hydraulic caliper. It's a mechanically actuated hydraulic disc brake. This is all mounted onto a fairly agricultural aluminium frame, which has kind of quite big lumpy wells, and it's not the prettiest thing to look at. Offers reasonable stack and reach figures as well, but frankly, at 900 quid for 105 and disc brakes, it's a pretty decent bang for buck bike. Out of all the bikes on this list, this is the one that I think I would probably buy. The Trek Domane AL2, which is super basic. It's a stripped back aluminium frame. It's got a carbon fiber fork. It has, again, fantastic stack and reach figures, and offers tubeless ready wheels, Bontrager wheels, and Shimano Claris transmission. Comes in a plethora of different sizes, and you know what, keeps it really nice and simple, because its rim brake is going to be a little bit lighter, and just the whole thing is just very, very well suited to new cyclists. So take a look at this at 750 quid. It's a bit of a steal in my opinion. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, which bike is going to top this list? Stop press. Specialized is topping this list. I mean, honestly though, congratulations to Specialized, because the new Ally is a fantastic piece of kit. Not only is it the lightest frame on the market for this price category, it's 1,375 gram smart weld aluminium frame. It offers fantastic stack and reach figures, very, very short, which are frankly knocking on the doors of Pinarello X numbers. So it's going to fit you really, really nicely, and certainly require far less space and longer stems and all this kind of stuff. It's going to require less modification to make it fit. It has mudguard eyelets, has clearance of 28mm tyres. This particular bike, although resides at the higher end of the price category that we're talking about today, for £1,000 you get Shimano Claris with functional shifters, comes with mechanically actuated disc brakes and puncture resistant tyres as standard. Give it a look. Nice one, Specialized.
Have you found the perfect entry-level bike? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to this channel for more.